Hey guys, my name is Matsumo, and today I got some brand new Battlefield 1 Domination gameplay. An NDA just lifted so I can finally show this off, and Domination is pretty much exactly what you would expect. There's 3 capture points that you need to hold on to, just like in the previous Battlefield games. It's infantry focus, but one thing that I'm liking is that there seems to be more of an emphasis on teamwork. This seems to be a theme with Battlefield 1, and DICE is trying to get squads to work together more, and I couldn't be happier about this. To give you a clear example of this, they've added in side missions into the multiplayer. Now I know you're thinking, what the hell are side missions? Well, if your squad leader marks an objective for you to capture, if you are successful in taking that capture point, you and your squad, everyone in it, gets 200 bonus points. Same as if you're on defense. If you need to hold on to B, for example, because you know the enemy is about to storm on in and try to capture that for themselves, if you're successful in holding on to that for an entire minute from the very beginning that your squad leader marks that point that you need to defend, if you last that entire minute and you hold on to it, you're gonna get another 200 bonus points. The result of this, or I'm assuming what DICE is going for with this type of system, is that they want to get squads to work together and move around the map as a cohesive unit. This is not something that we get in past Battlefield games. I'm even guilty of this in Battlefield 4, where if I see a squad leader mark an objective, I'll try to mosey on over, but more often than not, everyone's just running around doing their own thing, capping points, killing their enemy, and there isn't that squad cohesion that I know a lot of people have been itching for in a Battlefield game. It looks like DICE is trying to take those necessary steps to change that with Battlefield 1. The one downside with this system, though, and admittedly I'm kind of okay with it because hopefully people will learn that this is going to be an integral part of Battlefield 1, is that if your squad is worthless and they're doing their own thing, they refuse to work together, your squad leader isn't marking these objectives, you're going to have a hard time reaching the top of the scoreboard. Doesn't matter how good you are, doesn't matter how hard you're playing the objective, if you capture a point on Domination, for example, you only get like 25 bonus points. Very insignificant. If your squad leader marked that same objective, you get 200 bonus points. And so if another squad is doing those team-based actions and they're working together, they're going to completely outpace you in the point department, and I could see where that would be a little frustrating because you don't have much control over that. My hope is that people will realize that this is an important part about Battlefield 1, and it will get squads to work together. Even in the brief time that I played the game, I had incredible moments where we were all running around as a squad. I had no idea who my teammates were, we weren't over voice comms, but because they were starting to realize that this is an important part of the game, we were working together, we were taking objectives, we had amazing firefights because other squads on the enemy team were doing that very same thing. They were defending the point, our mission was to go and attack that point, we would clash, whoever came out on top would capture it, and it was incredible. And so just in general, I love the fact that DICE is trying to improve teamwork and squad cohesion with Battlefield 1. Will this actually be the case when the game goes live? It's kind of hard to tell. Maybe the couple of people that I was running around with were the minority, maybe they were just team-oriented, and when the game does go live, everyone's gonna do their own thing like they do with Battlefield 4, but my hope is that with these subtle improvements, with these incentives, it will make for a better game. One thing that I don't really like, though, is the way that they've handled a certain aspect of the medic class. Now, the medic in general is probably my favorite class in the game right now. It's very satisfying. I love the designated marksman rifles. I like to play that supportive role, reviving and healing my teammates, but the reviving part is where things get a little wonky. So the way that they have it set up right now is that if you die, you have the option to hold down the space bar and basically kill your soldier faster. You also have the option to call out to a medic and notify him that you're down on the ground and you need reviving. So I like that part of it, but what I don't like is the ability for them to speed up the process to respawn. There was a lot of situations where I was running around as the medic trying to kill the people that were around my dead teammates, and then when I finally cleared everything off and I was going for the revive with my syringe, I noticed the triage sped up like at Mach 5. All of a sudden it was like halfway done. I thought I had a couple of seconds and then it just disappeared in an instant. I was like, what the hell was that? I later learned it was because they held down the spacebar to speed up the respawn process. Now, I get why some people may like this system, but if you want to get your medics to actually use their syringe and use that as one of their gadgets, then I feel like you should actually give them the opportunity to use it. It's not even like the respawn system takes forever. For a long time, I didn't even realize that this was an aspect of the game, and so I just sat there like I normally would, because that's just how I played every other Battlefield game. I didn't realize that this was a mechanic, and I never felt like I was out of combat for a significant amount of time. Like, it felt reasonable. And so in my opinion, something needs to be done here. Maybe you guys will disagree. Maybe you guys like this. You don't like relying on your medics. You'd rather just get back into the action on your own accord. But at least for me, if they want to have a syringe in the game, they want to have people reviving, I think they should maybe take another look at this. The next thing I wanted to talk about really quickly is the excessive amount of bullet spread. Now, I know that we've talked about this in the past, but if you're not aware, a lot of the guns in Battlefield 1 have a lot of random bullet deviation. Doesn't matter how good you are at compensating for the recoil, doesn't even matter if you're pointing directly at the enemy, even that first bullet that comes out of your weapon may not even hit the target because of this RNG mechanic. You got random number generators flying around all over the place, and this bullet spread really becomes a hindering factor at taking people out at a distance if you are using certain guns. Now, a lot of people came up to me after that video saying, how dare you, Matimio? You just want the assault weapons to be the best in the game. It doesn't matter if you increase the recoil, because on PC, people are able to compensate for that recoil. Just look at the AEK, it's got high recoil, and people are able to dominate even at long range with that weapon. As soon as you just reduce or increase the recoil, but reduce the bullet spread, we're gonna have that same problem in Battlefield 1 where everyone's running around with submachine guns. That is definitely not what I want for Battlefield 1. Like, I am right there with you. I want submachine guns to have their place. I want them to only be good at close quarter combat. But at the same time, when we move on over to designated marksman rifles, weapons that you would assume would do well at medium to long range, they still suffer with this random bullet deviation. I was watching back through my gameplay and remembering my experience, and there was a lot of rifles that I was using as the medic. These designated marksman rifles, where even when I was trying to kill someone at 30 to 40 meters out, I was dealing with a significant amount of random bullet spread. It's not satisfying when you get a kill with these guns in those circumstances. It's like, yeah, I got the kill, which is cool, but it's not because I was accurate. It was not because I was compensating for the recoil. It's because I finally eventually got lucky with the weapon and eventually took them out. I just don't like that system. And so I guess the point that I'm trying to get across is that I'm hoping that DICE reevaluates the way that they balance out some of their guns, and there isn't such an emphasis on random bullet spread. I'm not trying to create, or I don't want a Battlefield where guns are all of a sudden outperforming others when they shouldn't. I want some machine guns to only do well up close. They should not do well at medium to long range, and I don't want them to. I don't want designated marksman rifles to outsnipe a bolt-action rifle at long distance. Like, that's not what I want, but I do think that there are more satisfying and better ways at balancing out your guns in a first-person shooter than just adding in random bullet deviation. At least that's my 2 cents. But yeah, guys, that is about it for today's video. I hope you enjoyed the Battlefield 1 domination gameplay. Let me know what you thought about what I discussed. Do you love the fact that there's gonna be more of an emphasis on teamwork in Battlefield 1? Do you love the new squad dynamic? Let me know down below. But yeah, guys, until tomorrow, have a good one and take it easy.